Good day and welcome to the GMAT 41's lesson class on quantitative reasoning. I hope you're glad to meet me once again. I'm very happy to see you in today's class, okay? Today I arranged something wonderful to teach you. You will enjoy it a lot because this is one very important aspect of calculation, okay? Mathematics. Remember I told you from our previous class, our last class, that quantitative is a part of mathematics, and since that class we've been looking at one part of quantitative where we study how to use simple equations to solve a problem. You would remember that we treated simple equation involving collection of like terms, and I taught you how you could see a problem like that under quantitative reasoning. So today, what is the wonderful package that I have for you? Alright, can we go to the board and see what we are going to learn today? Like I said, you are going to enjoy this class, as usual. Alright, and after today's class, believe me, you will not have problems, challenges in simple equation anymore. And of course, quantitative reasoning would become 1 plus 1 to you. Are you ready? Alright, let's get to business. So today the topic we're looking at is equations involving cross multiplication and dividing both sides of an equation by the coefficient of their unknown. Alright, equations involving cross multiplication, that is Cn. And also equation involving dividing both sides of an equation by the coefficient of the unknown, dbs. Divide both sides. Alright, you see, one good thing about what we are going to learn in today's topic is the relationship between cross multiplication and dividing both sides of an equation by the coefficient of the unknown. As a reminder, in our last class in quantitative reasoning, I explained that in collecting like terms, you should know that if plus crosses equality sign, it will change to what? Minus. That's correct. And if minus crosses equality sign, it will change to what? You are absolutely true. It will change to plus. If minus crosses equality sign, it will change to plus. So you see that there is this relationship between plus and minus when you are studying simple equation. In the same way, in today's class, the package that I have for you, okay, it's a wonderful gift. Today's class is a wonderful gift, yes. Alright? You would see why I say it's a wonderful class as you continue in your study of both quantitative reasoning, as you may call it, and mathematics, and even other calculation subjects. Now, what is the relationship of interest to us today? We are going to see how multiplication and division are related when you are studying simple equation. Alright, what should you know? When you are dealing with simple equations that contains maybe something that you need to do cross multiplication, or something that you need to do dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. What are you expected to know? I have written the points on the board here, the things you should know when dealing with equations involving cross multiplication and equations involving dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. Are you there? So let us start with equations involving cross multiplication. Alright? So let us look at them. The first we have that you should cross multiply when the equation involves single fraction. The single fraction here, of course, once you hear fraction, division comes to your mind, okay? So we can say when the equation involves division. When I talked about single fraction here, I will explain that further as we move on, okay? So I have example here to use in also explaining what I mean by saying single fraction. So what I am telling you here is this. Whenever you are solving any simple equation, whether in mathematics, whether you saw it from quantitative reasoning, what should you know? Don't wait for GMAT 41 to tell you to cross multiply when it becomes necessary that you see single fraction there. And in the fraction, the unknown should either be a numerator or denominator. Remember, the unknown is what you are looking for. The alphabet, the letter in the equation that you are dealing with. That is what we call the unknown. What you are looking for, you're searching for in that equation, what you are asked to calculate, to find. So, anytime you are solving a question, maybe you have a quantitative reasoning problem and you notice that this quantitative reasoning, the way they read the sample, I'm going to get fraction, okay? Maybe this divided by that, you get the other one. Please remember that in that case, you are expected to cross multiply. And like I said here, the unknown should either be a numerator or denominator of that equation. Let us quickly look at some examples here. I have two examples written on the board. If I give you x divided by 2, you know this sign all over is the same as divided, okay? X divided by 2 equal to 5. To solve this problem, I have to cross multiply. These 2, I will take it to the right hand side of the equation. Remember, we've already talked about the left and the right hand side of a given simple equation. So here x over 2 is on the left hand side, that's correct, and 5 is on the right hand side. So I am given x over 2 equal to 5. I want to get the unknown, which is x. All I have to do, if you look at x is on the left hand side. This over 2 is also on the left hand side. Now if I am looking for x, I have to make sure that x is standing alone on that left hand side. Therefore, I have to move this over 2, this divided by 2. I have to move it to the right hand side. And to move that divided by 2 to the right hand side, the mathematical step you will take is to cross multiply. You are wondering, cross multiply, how do I do that? Don't worry, when we start solving questions, you will see that. Anyway, I think I've got some examples here I will also use to explain how you cross multiply. Look at another example, 3 over x. So again, you see the unknown is the denominator here. In the first case, the unknown is the numerator. So, equal to 1 over 4. You have the left hand side, 3 over x. You have the left hand side, 3 over x. And the right hand side, what do you have? That's good, 1 over 4. So, if I am to solve this problem, I will have to do cross multiplication. On the board here, I wrote something here. When the equation involves single fraction. Alright, so what do I mean by single fraction there? You can see on the left hand side you have just one fraction, which is 3 over x. Look at this one. You have just one fraction, x over 2 on the left hand side. That is what I mean by single fraction. Now take a look at the board. Let me show you something once again. Suppose I give you, let's say I have 4 over 5 plus 3 over x. I take that again, 4 over 5 plus 3 over x, or minus 3 over x. Because of the plus or minus between 4 over 5 and this 3 over x, the fraction will no longer be a single fraction, but 2 fractions. In that case, you don't quickly do cross multiplication, you don't do that. We are still going to learn how to handle such problem. We are going to treat that under simple equation properly, okay? Remember, the subject is quantitative reasoning that we are dealing with. So when we talk about single fractions, okay, we just need to see only one fraction on the sign we're dealing with. Number 2, we now want to look at what you are expected to do when the equation requires dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. Now before I explain this number 2, I would like us to know what coefficient of an unknown is when you are talking about mathematics. Alright? Simple equation. Coefficient of an unknown, you can put it down, okay? Coefficient of an unknown is the number multiplying the unknown. The number that is multiplying what you are looking for. That is what we call coefficient of an unknown. So for example, let us think of this. Say that I am multiplying you. I am multiplying you. And someone said, okay, I am the unknown. Maybe you are looking for me. You want to know where I am. And remember I said, I am multiplying you. And now you are looking for me. Because you are the one multiplying me, you know, the multiplication is between me and you. Therefore, it means that you are my coefficient. Alright, I've just used human to explain this concept, this idea. Quickly, let us look at this on the board. Now, if I give you 2x equal to 10, this 2x means 2 times x. 2 times x equal to 10. The unknown is x. The coefficient is this 2 multiplying the x. Look at another example here. Do I have another one here? Okay, so we have that. Look at these two examples. Okay, 4y equal to 3, 2x equal to 6. Here, the coefficient of the unknown is 2. Here, the coefficient of the unknown is 4 because the unknown is y. And what is multiplying it is 4. So 4 is the coefficient. Alright, I've explained to you what coefficient of an unknown is. So let us now move on to see. When you are dealing with an equation, divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, that is dbs. When the unknown in the equation has a coefficient. Can we take that again? We are dealing with equation that has coefficient of an unknown. When you see that kind of problem, what are you expected to do? You are to divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. So if I give you any equation, let us assume you have a quantitative reasoning problem. Then you read the sample and you notice that in the sample when you are solving, maybe what you are looking for, the unknown, will have a number multiplying it. That number is the coefficient. How do you get the unknown in that case? Simply divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient of the unknown. Let us quickly consider some examples we have here on the board. I have 2x equal to 6. Now I'm looking for this x. The coefficient is 2. So all I have to do is to divide the left and the right hand side by 2. Let me quickly do something here. I will still cancel it, or I'll still clean it. 2x equal to 6. If I have 2x equal to 6, and I want to get my x, because you know if you are looking for anything, that thing which is the unknown must, take note, must be made to stand alone. So this is 2 times x equal to 6. I'm looking for x, which is the unknown. So I have to make x stand alone. Now, the coefficient of this unknown is 2. Therefore, according to this number 2 points, I have to divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. Because in this case, the unknown x has a coefficient, which is 2. So this is going to be, I'll come to the left hand side and then do 2x divided by 2. And then equal to 6 divided by 2. You see, I divided the left and the right hand side by the coefficient of the unknown, which is 2. So you see that here, these 2 and 2 will cancel. You'll be left with x on the left hand side. What will be remaining on the left hand side will be x. So you see that this is going to give us x equal to 6 over 2. If you now have the knowledge of multiplication, then it will be very simple for you to divide this. Doing 6 over 2, your answer will be equal to 3. And you will get that x is equal to 3. That becomes your answer. So this is what we mean when we talk about dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. So you see it is very simple. Quickly take a look at it because I am going to clean it now. It's not part of our note here. I've used it to explain what I want you to know. We are not solving question yet. Alright, so I'm wiping them. You now know what it means to divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. Alright, so do you have a question to that? If you have a question, please remember you can always send your question immediately, okay? And we'll respond to your question. You can do that by sending a voice note, or you can do that by typing. However you want to send your question across. You can also do that by writing the question down on paper, snapping and sending it. The choice is yours. Alright, now you have known what to do when an equation, alright, is to lead you to cross multiplication. When an equation has single fraction, you know that you need to cross multiply. That is what we have in point 1 here. And in a single fraction, the unknown should either be the numerator or the what? Denominator. You've also learned that when an equation involves or contains coefficient of an unknown, you are expected to divide both sides of the equation by the quotient of the unknown. These 2 points very important. So don't wait for anyone to tell you this is what you should do. In such a case, it is the mathematical step that you are expected to take anytime you see such problem. Alright, now we have some other points I would like us to know about. How many of them left? 2 of them, point 3 and point what? 4. This point 3 and 4, they are very important. Please pay attention as I explain what you should know in these 2 remaining points. Point number 3, I said, always remember that if A times B is equal to C, then C divided by A will be equal to B. What does this mean? You multiply 2 numbers to get one answer, that's always the case. So if you do a particular number times another one and you get the answer divided by any one of the numbers will give you the other number. So that's just what I'm saying here. A times B equal to C, for example. C is now the answer of A times B. Therefore, if you do C divided by B, the answer it will give you will be A. And if you do C divided by A, the answer it will give you will be what? B. That is it. Now let us consider an example here quickly. 2 times 5 is equal to 10, right? From your multiplication table, 2 times 5 is equal to 10. So 10 is the answer when you multiply 2 by 5. Therefore, it means if you do 10 divided by 2, 10 divided by these 2, it's going to give you what? 5. You can see that here. And also, if you do 10 divided by 5, you are going to get 2. You can see that. 10 divided by 5 equal to 2. So that's the idea of multiplication and division. Very important that you know that. Look at this case. This is multiplication. You multiplied 2 numbers to get an answer. 2 times 5 equal to 10. Here in this case, you notice that something has now changed to division. It is like I decided to take this 2 from this left-hand side to this 10. And so if this 2 is going to this 10, because between this 2 and this 5, you have times. If this 2 is crossing to this 10, it will now change towards divide. So you now have 10 divided by 2, which will now give you 5 as the answer. The same thing with these. You have 10 divided by 5. How? This is 2 times 5 equal to 10. So watch. If you want this 5 to go to 10, because between this 5 and 2, you have times. If that 5 is crossing to this 10, the times will now change towards divide. So you now have 10 divided by 5. So don't forget, if you multiply A by B and the answer is C, that answer, which is C, if you divide it by A, you'll get B. That answer, which is C, if you divide it by B, you will get A. The last important point also, but not the least. Alright, point number 4. Remember, when multiplication crosses equality sign, it will change towards division. It will change towards division. If multiplication crosses equality sign, I showed you that here already. I've explained something like that here. In the same way, that's what I mean by similarly. In the same way, I'll say also. If division now crosses equality sign, it will change to what? You are very correct. If division crosses equality sign, it will change to multiplication. So you see the relationship between multiplication and division when you are studying simple equation. Please don't forget this, very important. Let's consider these examples I have on the board. Okay? Now, this is 2 times x equal to 10. 2 times x equal to 10. Look at that, 2 times x equal to 10. Now, you notice that in this case, the unknown is x, and it is multiplied by 2. 2 is now the coefficient of the unknown. Therefore, in order to get this x, if I now want to get this x, you have to find a way to make it stand alone. And mathematics tells us that because this x has coefficient, I have to divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, which is 2. And that is why I now have x equal to 10 over 2. Yes, because this 2 will be taken to the right-hand side to meet this 10. So that x will stand alone on the left-hand side. And for that to happen, this is 2 times x. If this 2 is to move to the right-hand side, it will now change towards divide. because here, between 2 and the unknown, you have times. So you need to do DBS. That is what point 2 explained here. Don't wait for anyone to tell you that this is what you are to do. You are looking for an unknown. The unknown is multiplied by something. That something multiplying the unknown is the coefficient of the unknown. Use that something, which we call coefficient of the unknown, to divide both sides of the equation. Alright, you may wonder, but I said divide both sides of the equation. I didn't divide here by 2 because you're not seeing any over 2 here. Well, you don't need that. I've already shown you an explanation to that. But as a quick one, let me still show you this. I will still clear it. This is 2x equal to 10. Alright? So you will now do 2x over 10, over 2 rather. Left hand side 2x divided by 2, which is the coefficient of the unknown, equal to the right hand side will be 10 divided by 2. These 2 and these 2 will cancel out. So you see that when they cancel out, you'll be left with what? X. And that will be x equal to 10 over 2. That's why I have this here, okay? So I actually divided the left and the right by the coefficient of the unknown. Alright, let us move on to another example where we would need to do cross multiplication. How do we cross multiply? It's simple. Let us have this example, y over 5 equal to 2. Y over 5 equal to 2. As a quick one, let's go to point 1. Point 1 just said you should cross multiply when the equation involves what? Single fraction. Cross multiply when the equation involves single fraction. Alright, did you notice that there is a fraction here? And when we said equation involves single fraction, the unknown should either be numerator or denominator of that fraction. So look at that here, y is numerator here over 5. I don't need anyone to tell me, you need to cross multiply here. You are learning this already. You are learning the steps, so make sure you have it at heart. Okay, this is what I am expected to do anytime I see a simple equation where I have a single fraction and the unknown is maybe the numerator or the denominator of the fraction. So from here I would have to cross multiply. How do we cross multiply? It's simple. Y over 5 is equal to 2. These two standing alone, you are seeing there is over 1. Is over 1. Now if you are cross multiplying, let me show you something, but I don't like drawing this thing if I am solving. You don't really need to draw it. This one we cross down like this and multiply, then y we cross this way and multiply. This is what we mean by cross multiplication. So I will now do y times 1. Y times 1 will give you y. Any number, anything times 1 will give you that thing. So y times 1 will give us y. And that will now be equal to 5 times 2, or 2 times 5. So you see how I got that. Y equal to 2 times 5. I have done the cross multiplication. So it's very simple. Like I said, I don't usually like drawing this, so you don't end up cancelling something in what you are solving. Alright, so I have succeeded to explain to you what you need to know whenever an equation involves single fraction. And in that single fraction, the unknown is either numerator or denominator. I've also explained to you what you need to do when in a given equation you have coefficient of what? The unknown. I told you that you have to divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. We are now going to see how we can apply this in solving quantitative reasoning problem. When that quantitative reasoning problem leads us to something that requires cross multiplication or something that requires dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. Get set for questions now.